Good morning to everybody that's watching us on social as well. My name is Nikki Caboose. I'm the VP of Development for Palm Beach Tech. We've recently announced that we become a regional organization now serving Miami to Martin County. And I want to start out by, let me see if I can pull up my screen here. Let's see, everybody can see that? Perfect. All right, so this morning, our discussion is going to be all around data science, analytics, and artificial intelligence. Our speakers this morning are Catalina Arango, data scientist at the FPL at Florida Power and Light, Aaron Richter, an organizer with PyData Miami, and Sean Caputo, co-founder and CSO at Augusta High Tech, and Cam Collins, the CTO at Disaster Management Group. We also have a couple sponsors this morning, and one of them is here to speak with us. So I'll give him a moment to talk in just a couple of seconds here. So we have FAU and the South Florida Business and Wealth. You can learn more about them at fau.edu and sfbwmag.com. There we go. And our whole goal and mission as an organization is to build South Florida into a tech hub. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that here. Our community creed. So basically, Palm Beach Tech is wholeheartedly committed to building a welcoming, collaborative, inclusive community for all. We put inclusivity first, engage with others, and consider it to all, and don't sell to people. This community creed is super important to us, especially with everything that's been going on recently in the community and making sure that everybody feels welcome. And we are a very community-based organization. So what that means is we're about the people. So it's about everybody here. Next screen. These are some of our current members. We've got startups. We literally have a startup committee that are brand new startup entrepreneurs, all the way to our office depots and FPL. So everybody in between, anybody that's connected to tech that's here in the region of South Florida. Some of our events. So obviously this morning is our community coffee, but we've got our tech talks every Mondays, our podcast every Wednesday, workshops on Fridays. In addition to some of our annual events, such as the hackathon, which is coming up, by the way, so save the date, October 23rd through 25th. And you can find those on our website as well, southfloridatech.com. For anybody that is interested in membership, we are a membership-driven organization. These are just some of the benefits. I'm not going to obviously go through them all, but we've got everything from different speaking opportunities to member-exclusive groups and a member-exclusive platform. But you can find out more information about any of our events and our membership at southfloridatech.com. And a cool way, if you'd like to join our Slack channel here, and you can actually just text us 561-250-7206. Just send us your email address there, and then we can add you to our newsletter and any information that we have that comes out there. And let me stop sharing here. Thank you. And then what I'm going to do is, oops, sorry, still got my shared screen on my side. I actually have Dr. William Calise. Dr. William Calise is the professor and assistant dean for the graduate programs in the College of Science at FAU and serves on the conference program committee for the upcoming Data Science, Analytics, and AI conference. So obviously that's perfect why they sponsored this morning. Dr. Calise, if you'd like to say a few words and tell us a little bit about the conference, please feel free to do that.
All right, thank you very much. I really appreciate the opportunity to come and talk about the conference and some of the things that are going on at FAU. So the conference, this is our third annual conference. So the first two conferences were held on Boca Raton campus. And last year, Palm Beach Tech, your organization, was a sponsor and partner with us on that conference. And we're really happy to continue that relationship again this year. And if you want more information about the conference from what I'm going to say here, you can go to just fau.edu/data, and that should give you the conference schedule and the speakers and everything when we're in the middle of finalizing all of the schedule right now. So this conference is brought together in the past couple years, members of the community such as yourselves, faculty from from FAU campus, and all sorts of different people to come and talk together about lots of different issues in data science, and including research efforts and things that are going on to FAU, but also things of importance in the business community and in your tech space. And actually, I got a lot of important information from talking with people in the community, representatives from FPL and various other organizations that were at the very first data science conference we had. Some of their feedback about skills and things that they felt were important fed into the development of our curriculum at FAU, which I'll talk about in a few moments. So first, I'd like to showcase the keynote speakers that we have coming up for the conference, which is all virtual, of course, this year. Oh, I should say it's Saturday, November 14th. It's a day-long conference. It's all virtual this year, and we have 3 keynote speakers. So Tom Kramer from IBM, Adam Jones, the CRO from Miami Marlins, and Michelle DeDeo, who's an associate professor in North Florida, but also does research at the Mayo Clinic. And they're going to talk about a wide range of topics that I think are timely and of interest. And I'm really excited about this group of speakers. As I said, we're just finalizing the rest of the presentations and schedule, and that should be out within the next couple of weeks. Our sponsors this year, besides Palm Beach Tech, we have Media Ops. They have generously opted to support us, to give us a full immersive virtual conference platform. And so there's going to be high quality recordings of everything, and the presentations should all be very professional. And there's going to be booths available for companies who want to help support our efforts and have sponsorship and get a booth to present your company. And it will be all done in a very professional virtual space. If you want more information about that and other sponsorship possibilities, you can contact Maria Provost at FAU, and she will definitely talk to you about all the possibilities that we have. And so we're very excited to have that opportunity to offer that to sponsors. So I just wanted to take one moment to a couple slides to just say something about what's going on at FAU. I don't know how much is broadly known in the community. So recently, FAU has received a designation from the Florida Board of Governors as a University of Distinction in Applied AI and Big Data Analytics. And this is a university-wide effort that's multi-college, multi-discipline, setting up interdisciplinary degree programs, interdisciplinary research. And this is a big deal for us. We're very excited about having this as our field of distinction at FAU. And we have already begun planning new degree programs. We have university-wide master's degree programs, and planning for a bachelor's degree program in data science that should be coming online next year. And we have, as I said, a lot of the feedback that I've gotten from past conferences went into helping design some of these curriculums. So we're giving, broad training in data science and AI, developing research and inquiry skills and hands-on experience. And our goal is to develop really high quality candidates with the skills that you guys want to hire in your businesses and your companies. And I think there's a lot of opportunities for relationships with the broader tech community in these programs for student internships. We also have positions on advisory boards that we need from outside businesses. And just to, if you're interested to engage students in research or projects for classes or things that they might find interesting that you might have. So I represent the College of Science. So I'm an associate dean in the College of Science. And just in the College of Science, we have over 36 faculty doing research that involves significant amount of data science or AI. We have about $20 million in external funding over the last 5 years in this area. We're really excited to be developing a new state-of-the-art AI lab for students in our library that was given by a facilitated by a $1 million gift from the Grubers. It's really a fantastic space. Unfortunately, it's kind of slowed down due to COVID. So the rollout of that will depend on when we can actually start interacting in person a little bit more. There's new initiatives, and we have a broad area of research. There's new initiatives with Memorial Health down in Broward County. We do research on mathematical foundations of data science, and we have a lot of application areas in our college in urban regional planning and drug discovery and GIS and remote sensing. Neuroscience, we have the Brain Institute with partnership with Max Planck, where we do a lot of computational neuroscience work. And we have a big effort in physics and also cryptography related to data security and things of this nature. So we have a wide ranging set of interests in our college. And so, one of the goals of this conference is to also let the community know some of the research and things that we're doing here, and bringing the community together with FAU faculty to try to see what we can do both for our students and for potential collaborations. So once again, here's the locations of information about the conference on Saturday, November 14th. So to register, you can go here, but if you just go to fau.edu/data, you can see all the details. And I really thank you for your time and giving me this time to talk to you about it. Are there any questions?
No, I think that was great. I actually dropped the URL there in chat too for anybody that's in here in Zoom with us. But Monica, if you could help me by dropping that on social as well, just to make sure everybody's got that link, that would be super helpful. And then also, oh, Penny, sorry.
Did I actually share my screen?
No, I was just going to say, I didn't want to interrupt you, but we didn't have your screen shared. So I dropped that link in chat there for you.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
8 a.m. Zoom thing. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I know we even tested it beforehand.
Yeah, we did. I'm like, oh, I just found enter and started going. I really apologize for that.
No, you're perfectly fine.
So I can give I can give you the slides to send to people.
Yeah, no, that'd be great too. I was going to ask if there's any information or links or anything you wanted to share. We always send out to anybody that RSVPs a follow-up email, so I can include that in there as well.
Yeah.
This way we were more focused on what you were saying.
There you go.
So here's the actual slide with the conference, right? So
perfect.
Yeah, sorry about that. And Zach worked really hard to make nice slides for me.
Yeah, I'll definitely make sure to include those.
So these are the keynote speakers.
Perfect. Yeah, and for anybody that follows or receives our e-newsletters on Mondays as well, we've included that information there too. So we'll make sure to start getting that out to everybody. So thank you guys very much for that. And I want to go into introducing our speakers. Let me see. I'm just going to go with actually who is on my screen first. And have each of you actually just introduce yourselves, tell us, your name, what you do, the company you work for, and just tell us a little bit about how you got into, analytics and AI. And I'm going to start with, I guess, ladies first. Catalina, if you'd like to go first.
Sure. Hi, good morning, everyone. Can you guys hear me okay? Okay, great. So my name is Catalina Arango. I'm a data scientist at Florida Power and Light. I started my journey with advanced analytics and machine learning in 2013. I was doing some research with the Department of Information Management at my university. And ever since then, I caught the bug and I was hooked. So I've had the opportunity to work on several analytics functions throughout my career, both at startups and at larger corporations. In my current role at Florida Power and Light, I'm in the customer service business unit, and I'm serving more of the function of a product manager for internal data science solutions. I've also had the opportunity to help shape the strategy of data science for customer service and help continue to build out the data science capabilities through trainings and education. In addition to that, I'm very involved in the data science community. I'm Stanford University's Women in Data Science Ambassador for Miami. So we host the Women in Data Science Miami Conference every year. And I'm an organizer for Our Ladies, which is a community meetup focused on the R programming language and organized by women. I'm a big believer in bridging the gap of, between data science and business, wherever there is one. And I'm just happy to be here today and share my insights with all of you.
Thank you, Catalina. I've got next on my screen, Aaron.
Hi, everyone. My name is Aaron Richter. I'm a organizer of the PyData Miami chapter and also a senior data scientist at Saturn Cloud. So PyData Miami is, PyData itself is a global organization focused on data science and scientific computing communities. And it's kind of born out of Python, that's hence the name like PyData, but it's also open to all other languages like R and Julia that data scientists may use. But it's really all about community meetups and conferences. So in Miami, we do meetups, obviously virtual right now. We had our first Miami conference last January and had planned one again this year, but wasn't able to do that because of COVID. And so we're hoping to be able to pick that up again soon, but we continue to do virtual meetups. We actually have one coming up on Thursday that I can drop the link in. We'll have a couple speakers there. And then Saturn Cloud is a data science platform for teams to kind of accelerate their data scientists using cluster computing and GPUs on the cloud. And formerly, actually, I was a data scientist at Modernizing Medicine. I spent the most of my career there. I was there for like 6 years and did a lot building up their data warehouse, their data pipeline, data science and analytics capabilities. I did my PhD at FAU as well. And so that's kind of how I got into everything. I started off in more of a software engineering kind of track in the computer science department. And then as I went into grad school, I kind of stumbled upon data science and then also like fell in love with it and then got going with it. So super excited to be here and kind of share whatever I can.
Thank you, Aaron. So you're very well connected with all a bunch of our different companies and conferences and everything that you've been connected to. So we're happy to have you here. I've got next, Sean.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for inviting me to this early meeting. My name is Sean Caputo. I am the Chief Strategy and also Innovation Officer at Augusta High Tech. I don't dabble directly in data science. I have some employees that do. So we actually got to steal some of the data scientists from Disney. We have a really strong department in data science, also with AI, RPA. It's a strong division, it's popular. And today we work directly with hospitals like Children's Hospital, working on data science models. We're building micro data lakes, taking the data out of big data and micro data so we can get better, accurate information faster with computing power. We're also working with Google with TensorFlow, ML, with quantum computing and doing searches and trying to get back information a lot faster. Quantum's a little bit tricky, but we've been working on it for the last year. And so hopefully we'll see some big returns in the future. That's it.
Perfect. Thank you, Sean. Appreciate it. And last but not least, of course, Cam.
Hi, my name is Cam Collins. I'm the CTO at the DMG. DMG stands for Disaster Management Group. I'm born and raised in South Florida. Been involved with South Florida Tech now for almost 3 years. I was the co-chair of South Florida Tech for about 18 months. I'm a big supporter of the organization. And so I'm a business person, somewhat like Sean, on this panel. I'm quite actually humbled to be on this panel, to be honest with you. because I just started getting involved in data science and AI 6 months ago. I ran a traditional enterprise software company for many, many years. And I think a perspective that I could possibly add to this panel is the differences between traditional software development and traditional software life cycles, as opposed to the AI process and the process of actually doing data science. Over the past 6 months, since I've started with the DMG, we've been investing heavily in data science and analytics to solve problems for people who are faced with some kind of natural disaster. We've been very, very involved in the COVID response and mitigation effort. We're very involved in hurricane mitigation, and believe it or not, there's lots of data science and analytics that could be brought to bear to help improve our ability to respond to disasters. I'm actually quite humbled to work with two very, very wonderful data scientists. One of them actually has agreed to join us this morning. Her name is Dr. Yelena Desh. Now, she hails from Chicago, so it's not 7:25. She's 7:25 where she is, as opposed to 8:25. But Yelena, if you could just say hello.
Hello, everyone. I'm glad to be here, and thanks for having me.
So Yelena's got over 20 years of data science experience, and like I said, I'm a newbie to this. I took I took a graduate level AI course many years ago, and never really looked back at the data science until recently, and I'm just blown away with the advances that have occurred over the past couple of decades. So glad to be here.
Thank you, Cam, and thank you for Yelena for joining as well. So we've got just a little over a half hour, so I'm going to go quickly through some of these questions. But I wanted to start out for anybody that maybe is listening in that's not as familiar with some of the terms. And I know this question seems to come up a lot when we're talking about data scientists, is what is the difference between, if any of the panelists want to help explain, between a data scientist and a data analyst?
So I can try to explain that a little bit. So, data analysts work with data sets and try to derive insights from them, structure them in the right way to try to analyze them. They use, specific calculations to find insights that may be valuable for the business. Now, where I think that they differ from data scientists is that data scientists have much more of a specialized skill set. They work with machine learning, try to build models to create predictions. And I would say that data scientists also, if they don't, should have a stronger focus on operationalizing, machine learning models and putting them into production to continue deriving value from them. So, data scientists will work with tools like Python and R and Julia, which Aaron brought up. And while data analysts can also work with these tools, I think the nature of what they do, like I said, is a bit more specialized, focuses more on machine learning and really bringing those models into a production setting versus just trying to derive insights from the data.
If you mind, I'll add to that too. I think that was a great interpretation. One of the things too is you have to look at is the word science. Science, if I bring in my team, we're looking at large data chunks and we're running theories. What are the models that we're going to build to have outcomes? The analyst is analyzing those outcomes to see if those outcomes fit the needs of that business unit, whether it's in marketing, customer service, whether it's in cancer and healthcare. But really, they can analyze it and get the most information out of those outcomes, where the data scientist is going to be building models after models after models for the analyst.
Perfect. Thank you guys for that. I also wanted to, I think this is probably a big question and probably we could talk about this one question forever, but if anybody can give us an idea, especially those of you that have been in data science for quite a while, is how has data science changed over the years, specifically the last decade, the last 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, I can speak towards that a little bit. I think in the last 5 to 10 years, the largest, driving force of data science and AI adoption has been computing power. That's kind of like the underlying computing power and then data. So that's kind of been like the underlying kind of motives and things that have been driving it. So if you think about, first of all, data, just the fact that we have now so many systems that are collecting data, storing data, and then and digitizing, collecting digital forms of data that maybe weren't collected before. We just have kind of like an enormous wave of data come in. And then alongside that, we've gotten computing performance to a place where we can actually analyze those large data sets and actually train like AI models on those data sets. Because the theory behind AI, a lot of this, I mean, that stuff is from the 60s and 70s and 80s. A lot of the kind of core advancements and crazy stuff that you see with like image recognition and all of that stuff now, the theories have been around, but we haven't been able to have enough kind of computers and strong enough computers to train models on them. So that's kind of like the driving forces. So if you think about like terms such as like big data, data science, and AI, there have been tools built now around that computing power, such as Python, R, other systems like distributed computing systems that have enabled kind of engineers and data scientists to take advantage of that data, whereas before maybe you had to be like a super specialized researcher that was writing custom algorithms. So because of the tools that are now around over the last 5 to 10 years, many of them being open source, all the packages inside of like languages such as Python and R have kind of started to democratize that access to analyzing those large data sets to more and more people, and then obviously more and more organizations because of that.
Yeah, and to add to that, I think because data science and AI have been democratized. Before, as Aaron said, it was maybe specialized researchers who were really working on these algorithms and models, and then you had the tech companies who really were the first pioneers in the space, and now you're starting to see that traditional industries are starting to adopt a lot of these methodologies. And so, they're starting to really question, what is the value that data science can bring to my organization? And so in the past, I would say, maybe 3 years, there's been a stronger focus on operationalizing machine learning and not just, building these models and finding these cool insights or making these great predictions, but how do we embed them into the systems and the processes that we already have to really drive value? And that's how you've seen more of a rise of software that are enabling the operations of machine learning, and more of a focus on all of these processes like DevOps for data science.
I'll add on the business perspective too. It's changed drastically. You used to go to the store, right? Today you get Amazon. It was 2 days. Before that was 3 days. Now Amazon's 1 day. And they're using AI to really look at product throughput. Where do we need to put product to purchasing powers of different regions? On top of that, look at healthcare. Like today, you can actually talk to a doctor with your preconditions and symptoms, and through AI and through the past data science of gathering all the information, we're able to actually give you a 99% outcome of what you have just by talking before the doctor even finishes. So the science side is actually where we're at today. Before it was centralized, where it's at today, it's all the way down to retail, all the way down to getting a product the same day, all the way down to even COVID pulling up the type of information around the world so rapidly, is because, data science has changed drastically, and it's made it more of a tool that can be used by all types of industries, and it's impacting us daily, especially when we're talking about even down to music and TV shows. So it's changing, and it's going to get even better and better. So wait to the next 2 to 3 years, because we're already working on AI components where guys like myself can just talk to the computer and build models around data that's inside our company business units without a data science. So things are drastically changing. There's 2 major companies out there today, one in the UK, one in Dallas, that have some amazing technologies that allow just a manager of a department to talk to the unit pull back great outcomes and then make judgment calls of where they're going to go that day, which is pretty amazing.
I'm going to ask Elena to jump in on this as well, to add to her thoughts. I hope we eventually get there at some point, but I would like to start talking about, the quality of data and the bias that exists in data. But Elena, maybe you could tell us a little bit about kind of what you've seen over the past 15 years and the great changes in cloud computing. Elena, you're on mute.
Oops, sorry, thanks, Cam. Yes, I would like to add a few words, if you don't mind, and especially because, like, I do have a view on this topic, which I been working for last 20 years, but it's also a reflection of how people see this field, like in countries that actually leading the machine learning and artificial intelligence world. You probably can hear I'm from Russia, Moscow, Russia. So I did my PhD there, and I worked for 20 years in actually financial domain in the United States. I totally agree with Aaron when he said that all those methods and algorithms and models were available like 20 years ago. There's nothing new. But the computer power, it's really what recently, like in 10 years, brought all those algorithm model principles to life. I also would like to go back to the previous question about the difference between data analyst and data scientist. In my mind, and especially going back, when like 15 years ago, people were hiring data analysts or even like the interns from the colleges, the main skill was like some knowledge of statistics, some knowledge of computer science, and they put it together, and those people did some regressions and applied it to different domains. I think around that's what I see. Like started around maybe like 10 years ago. That people started to value the domain knowledge. And domain knowledge started to be more and more important in application of data scientists and also for different models. Quality of the data, it's very important. You can have amazing models, you can have very sophisticated algorithms, but if it will be applied to data, you do not understand as a data scientist, or if you do not understand the value of the data, sometimes even normalization of the data, then your results will not be as you want, and actually it would bring very misleading results. So I think that this part is also very important for us as being a data scientist. Also, one of the major characteristic of the data science in general, at least how I applied it to you, and I think that my colleagues from a science community will agree with me. The science is always historically and by definition by skills of people who are involved in this area. Science is going forward. That's, I think, what attracts us being in the field, and that what is the driving force of any science. I'm glad when we are started talking about artificial intelligence, machine learning, yet as a science, because the goal is to move the principles and the models as a science with the laws, the strategy, and going forward. And I think is the most fascinating thing I see now, that machine learning from and data science from being more like applied science started to turn to be the fundamental science. And that's, I think, the major shift I see in the recent year, and that's very exciting.
Thank you, Liliana, for your point of view too, and I appreciate that added input there. I actually wanted to dig a little bit deeper into our last question as well, because actually Catalina and Sean, you guys started talking about some of the different industries that are using data science and AI right now. And I wanted to ask you, each of you, is how is data science and AI, being used in your organizations right now? What are some of the major impacts that it's had?
She can go first. She's at FP&L.
Okay. So as I mentioned earlier, I'm in the customer service business unit of FP&L. FP&L is a Nextera company, and Nextera has many different divisions. So I'm going to speak to what we're doing in customer service right now. So we are using data science and machine learning to help improve the operations of our contact center. That's really, those are the internal products that I'm helping to build out. So traditionally, let's say we have a quality group that would help ensure that our call agents are giving our customers the best quality that they can, right? And they would listen in on the calls and then provide coaching and feedback. And what we've done recently is build a machine learning model that serves as an assistant, and it pre-screens the calls, and it helps to rank the anomaly of the call, how anomalous that call is, how different from the norm it is, so that our quality analysts can now have a set of calls that have been pre-screened, and they know that they should be focusing on those to listen and provide specific coaching and feedback. So that's just one example of something that we've done using anomaly detection. We're also using machine learning to help improve our forecasting so that we can better staff our contact center. We also use it to help us assess and rate the creditworthiness of new accounts, so that we know how much of a deposit we have to seek. So there are a lot of applications just within customer service and within SPL as a whole. I can speak to them at a high level. We use machine learning to help us improve our grid operations and bring you the reliability that you need. And then, of course, at the generation level, optimization is also a big area of use for machine learning, and just helping us to bring the most from our renewable energy assets. So lots of applications, lots of exciting things, and I think we're really just at the beginning of it.
So you would think, because we're a tech company, that we only do it for other companies, but we actually use it internally in our company in multiple divisions. My innovation team right now, we're working on deep learning. And on the side of the business units, just on the sales cycle alone, we're running AI to look at the inbound calls, inbound leads, and being able to tell the lead quality before it even gets into the sales team. And we're pulling all different types of data points from industry and such. And one of the big outcomes, to give you an outcome, what happened when COVID, we actually looked at the map and we said, hey, instead of going pure global, we isolated our whole team down to healthcare, and we isolated down to logistics because of what was going on with Amazon. And we only hit Arizona, Florida, Texas, and we stayed in those states, and our numbers like quadrupled. So we had to hire 10 more people just to meet the demand right away. So we're using that type of information to say, what are CIOs putting on their whiteboards? What's the new technology that's going to be around for the next 6 months? And how are we going to talk to our customers? And then from that, what industries are hot? Because these industries' life cycles change drastically. So we're using all AI, we're using data science on that part to build those models. On the back end side, we use it for product developments. So we're using it from a financial standpoint. We're using it from a process flow standpoint. We literally took the onboarding from 2 months down to 2 weeks when you're doing documentation and processing of writing documents against products. We then streamlined and increased productivity all the way through down to QA. And what we did was we just built a team, built models, started pulling all the data from these models, and we used it to re-optimize how we do business and how we build products. And the quality of the product at the end of the day, we saved 98%. Front end of all the documentation, 98%, and then process through bugs and stuff like that went down drastically across the board. So it depends on the business unit, but we're using it all throughout our company. But the real best side is the innovation side, because when you get into deep learning and when you get into applying these types of technologies to different use cases is where the fun's at.
Yeah, and I can talk towards my company. We are kind of the software facing, tech facing type company. So this is kind of things that our clients are doing, and these are things that I can talk about. And there's other things obviously that I can't. But one really cool partner that we're working with, and one of our clients that uses Saturn Cloud, is a company called Sensei. They're a startup that actually does eye tracking for monitoring like in warehouses and stuff like that. So like monitoring for fatigue, checking to make sure that people are kind of like staying alert and all of that stuff. So that's all kind of deep learning computer vision and stuff. We also have partnered with the COVID Alliance, which is a platform to run research for COVID-19. And it's such a wide range of research that kind of needs to be done in this area. A lot of it is like analyzing how social distancing policies are actually working, like, you know, what area of people are staying at home and going to work, and like what movement is kind of increasing rates of infection or decreasing. How are people kind of adhering to those policies, and kind of other like social determinants of health, like how does that affect transmission rates, and then kind of how people react to it. So there's definitely such a wide range, and probably, you know, every industry being covered with data science.
I know we're, thank you for that. I know we're running short on time here, Nikki, so I'll be brief. There's 3 projects actually at DMG that we're working on that I think the team might find interesting. One of them is actually a multiple object detection system utilizing standard video surveillance equipment. So some of our clients have come to us. We actually deploy COVID-related quarantine base camps nationwide to the U.S. Army and a handful of other customers, both government and commercial organizations. And some of our clients came back to us and said, "Hey, look, you know, we've invested in all this video surveillance equipment. Can you guys build out a machine learning model, really using deep learning, to do facial recognition on people who are coming in and out of these crowded areas, and to determine who's effectively a contact instance, 2 or more people within 6 feet of each other for 2 minutes." Really difficult problem to solve when you don't have complete control over the video surveillance equipment being used. So Yelena and Anatoly have been working really hard to solve that problem. We've got a working model that we're ready to deliver on that, which has been really exciting for us. The other interesting piece of technology is similar to what Sean's doing. We're actually doing risk profiling, screening of callers and or guests that want to attend an event based upon the way they answer certain questions about their health profile, and also based upon where they're from a demographics, geographics perspective. We can provide our clients with somewhat of a risk profile in terms of whether the individual has a potential for being COVID positive, or, you know, whatever else may be kind of the next health scare that comes down the line. And last but not least, we're utilizing machine learning to analyze historic disasters. Think cyclones worldwide and how they've impacted various cultures and people and economies and governments, and trying to tie up the loose ends of all those supply chains, such that in future events, future disaster events, we'd be more efficient in terms of our ability to provide relief services.
Thank you all for that. I mean, it was really great to hear actually how you guys are utilizing data science and AI within your own organization. So I appreciate that. I know that question took a little bit longer of time, but I really wanted to hear, what each of you are doing. I actually wanted to take a moment to introduce somebody that we have in Zoom with us today. His name is Jose Delgado. Jose, if you want to take yourself off mute, he actually just started yesterday with us. He is, and correct me if I'm wrong in any of this, Jose, he actually just started with our organization as an intern. He is going to school right now for data science. He actually graduated high school top of his class and actually did dual enrollment. So even though he's a freshman, he's actually a junior. And I know that now we get into the next section. I actually wanted to allow him to ask the next question. Jose?
Morning, everyone. So yeah, my name is Jose, and I am in FAU Wilkes Honors College, majoring in data analytics, aspiring to become a data scientist. So it's a pleasure to be here with you all today. So the question is, what is your reaction to graduates from academic programs for data science?
We can't get enough of them.
What about some of could you guys elaborate on maybe some of the skills, or if you guys have been it's been a positive thing as far as the skills they brought in, whether it's soft skills, hard skills, but just kind of what has been the overall reaction, especially to talent that's come out of our schools locally?
Yeah, I can speak to a little bit around like the academic programs of data science. I think a lot before, 5 years ago, data scientists were coming from everywhere. They were coming from math departments, they're coming from computer science, social sciences, and things like that. And so now we've started to see some schools coalesce into a data science department. And that's really good because they're starting to focus now, right? Whereas, students maybe were focusing on something else, and then on the side, we're doing data science. Now that students are actually being taught things like SQL, Python, R, like in their programs, is really good. And I think there's also a level of vetting that comes in too with that, just because some of those programs are newer. So it's great to know that universities like FAU and other local universities have strong foundations in these areas, and then you can kind of trust graduates from those. Whereas some potentially some other universities have kind of thrown in data science programs that aren't fully thought out. So I think it's continuing to mature, and I think we're going to see programs continue to be to grow and be more like good for candidates and things like that. So that's just my opinion.
Perfect.
I would add to it too, if you don't mind. We do have actually the current graduate from Vanderbilt University working with us right now, and he is also working as a data scientist. In general, I think that having people from just graduated from universities or from master or PhD program, it's a great benefit for the company because they bring the fresh look. Sometimes people who've been in the area for a long time, we do have some kind of predefined look at things. We may not follow, even we try, the current trends. And I always I just love working with people from just recent graduates because that's interesting. Their mindset is also open, and I generally think that it's a great benefit to any organization to have people recently graduated. What I would like to wish, or my suggestion to people who are just joining the field from universities, or even like you say, still going to school, many tools around machine learning and artificial intelligence becoming more and more friendly. We recently, Kim and I, in our presentation that Amazon did on their SageMaker. And one topic that kind of, I have a dual opinion about it. So their speech was about, you don't need to know about data science. You don't need to know artificial intelligence. We just provide you everything. You just push the buttons and everything will be built for you. And I mean, it's great that all the applications, all the methods became more and more friendlier, but I think that the basis of data science and artificial intelligence is really important. And I just encourage young people like Jose and actually the majority of people on the screen, do not forget about fundamentals of any science, because like without knowing fundamentals, it will be no matter how friendly the tools are around you. The fundamentals, it's what moving us forward. And without it, you will not be able to succeed. That's my opinion.
Thank you, Yelena. And actually, you kind of alluded to our next question here. Jose, if you want to ask that one as well.
Yeah, so one more question. Should undergraduates who are pursuing a degree in data science, should they automatically think about getting a master's or doctorates as well?
For me, and I would say, not necessarily. I mean, for any career, I would always suggest, getting some experience first. Nowadays, I think a lot of the courses that were typically reserved for master's or PhD are definitely kind of making their way down into a bachelor's degree. And I think that's really important and really valuable. And I think getting that hands-on experience in whatever setting, you would like to eventually work in is really valuable. And from there, you can see if you feel that the master's or the PhD is necessary. You have many great data scientists that do have them, and you have some that, don't necessarily, because there's so much that you can also learn on your own. And keep in mind, for me, the most important skills or attributes of a data scientist are really that, curiosity and ability to ask the right questions and just persevere to find the right answers. So.
And I would 100% agree with that, even though I do have a PhD myself in data science. I think it used to be that you didn't get to do the data science stuff until you got to a graduate degree, just because there wasn't space for it and there wasn't the right tools for it now. But I mean, like, it's probably the same approach that you would take in any industry that you're in, is that if you choose to get a master's or kind of continue further. I would say that the one thing that a PhD program shows, and I think a lot of companies hired and continue to hire PhDs, is the fact that you can independently pursue a research objective and kind of do whatever it takes to attack that, learn about it, really, really get deep, and then create something new and novel out of it. So that action and that experience is still really valuable. You don't necessarily have to do it in a PhD program anymore. There's a bunch of public data sets. There's a lot of content out there where you can kind of continue to work on tools and your own skills and kind of dive into things and improve that experience.
I'm amazed how much good online stuff there is out there as well. To your point, Aaron, I mean, I'm a middle-aged business guy, and I've been taking machine learning and deep learning classes online, and I'm just blown away what's available.
Yeah, I'll add to that. You're absolutely right. Technology cannibalizes itself. You want to jump into it as fast as possible. We take the stance of Google. So we work with Oracle and Google, like we've built models in 30 minutes using Google platforms with no code, low code on COVID data. And today what we're doing is we took 6 people, and we go after underprivileged. We took 6 underprivileged women that were on welfare and converted them into data science, converted them into QA, converted them into UX, UI in a matter of 6 months. And then they're billing out at around $98 to $100 to $200 an hour. Right now we're running programs with Oracle. I mean, this is the trend. People are going straight to the tech companies. And like our company, we build our own data scientists. We do all the training. And even in South Florida, we're getting ready to do a program that we're going to take in every 5 months, at least 6 students that can't afford to go to school, and convert them into technologists, whether it's Flutter, whether it's straight code, whether it's a data science, QA, and project management. And we're just going to keep doing this and hopefully churn out in our local community great talent. And we've already, the armies came to us, tech universities in Illinois has already come to us asking for our programs because the program works. And we've already built bridges with billion-dollar corporations saying, Sean, as many underprivileged students that you can create, guess what? We'll take them. And other companies are already on top of the board said, Sean, just give them to us and we'll just place them everywhere. But it's cost zero, costs nothing. It's the same as going to YouTube. But for us, we have a whole program. You get fully immersed into the job in real time, working with global clients. And the students that are coming out are amazing. So I would recommend to you, because of technology cannibalization, I would get into it now, because 2 more years, the landscape's going to be completely different, if not in the next 6 months.
Perfect. Thank you all. And we are almost at time. So I want to finish up with just one final question. And I know that I believe it was Cam that you kind of alluded to this question in the very beginning was, you know, what do you think as far as right now we're talking about the ability for like further and better, you know, computive like data and like the quality of data. So what would you say as far as around the quality of data? Is it getting better and are we utilizing it the way we should be?
We shouldn't just take for granted that the data is of good quality just because we have a lot of it. You hear a lot about, you know, no algorithm is going to be successful with junk data. And the other thing I'm starting to learn more about, again, I'm a newbie at some of the stuff, but is the bias in data. I'll just do one quick little example I read about. Hannah Fry, who is a mathematician, wrote a book called Hello World. I'm not sure if anybody's familiar with that book, but in that book, she talks about a lot about algorithms and data analytics and data science. And she was talking about how they're utilizing machine learning algorithms in the justice system. And the rational thought process is that, hey, let's cut all the bias out of the justice system when a judge or someone with jurisdiction like that is making a judgment in terms of what someone's crime should be. We as humans are biased as it is. So, you know, whether it be skin color, gender, whatever it may be, hair color, we tend to be as humans biased towards, and when we make some of those decisions. So let's allow the machine to do it. Well, as she kind of dug more deeply into that, she was talking about the bias in data itself. And as Fry explains in this book, unless a fraction of the people who commit crimes is the same in every group of defendants, it is mathematically impossible to create a test which is equally accurate at predicting across the board. It's going to make false positive and false negative predictions just because the data itself is inherently biased. The algorithm could be as good as you could possibly make it, but the data itself has bias inherent to it. So I just think as data scientists and as people who oversee data scientists like myself, I think we just need to be cognizant of that. It's really what was my point.
Thank you so much, Cam. And just because of time, I'm going to have to end it there. I really appreciate everybody joining us. I feel like, again, like I normally do after our community coffees, that we need like a part 2 of this. So thank you again, everybody, for joining us. Thank you to our speakers. Thank you again to South Florida Business and Wealth and FAU for being our sponsors this morning. And hopefully everybody has a wonderful day.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.
Take care.